Is he not getting any closer? Oh, gosh. It's one of those Monty Python things, isn't it? Oh my God. Did you hear? Did you hear? Yeah. You okay, man? Oh my God, my lungs are on fire. My heart hurts. Oh, what's wrong? Oh my God. Yeah, you were running. That was awful. Why would anyone ever do that? Oh my gosh. Oh, I mean, it's good for your heart, good for your lungs, good for long journeys, long quests, things like that. Does it build any muscle? Kind of, not like big muscles per se, but it helps build some kind of muscle. Then why would anyone do it? You know, not important, not important. What did you want to chat about? Right, sorry. Woo. Did you hear? They're gonna put us in a video game. Oh yeah, I'm pretty excited, honestly. I mean, this is one of the coolest things I think that's happened since we've started up this channel. Like the actual chance to be in a video game, like a legit video game. Did I hear that right? Are you serious? They're gonna finally put a sling in a game? Ooh, yeah. Sorry, man. It's we're not gonna be using the sling in the game. Still not a lot of high demand for a sling character in a video game. You still have a Plague too, right? They had a sling. It's cool, you know. Pew. Cool. I hate all of you. What do I have to do? What do I have to do to finally make a sling cool enough to put in a game? What do I have to do? In this game, we're helping mainly with like the archery system, the realism of it, the different types of arrows, things like that. That's like what we're helping them with. It's not gonna be the sling. Hey, hold up. There, what about melee? Oh yeah, no, for sure. There's gonna be melee in the game. There's gonna be heavy weapons, two-handed weapons. There's gonna be shields. There's gonna be sword combat and different types of combat. But again, we're not really helping with that. We're gonna be in the game like more as an archer. You. Oh, come on, don't be mad. Don't be mad. No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. Nope. Not mad at all. Oh, come on. Just don't be mad, man. Don't be mad. No, I promise. Not mad. You're sure you're not mad? No, I promise. I promise I'm not mad at all. Okay, good. Let's get started with the video. I just think it's funny that whenever we get a good game opportunity, you are stay it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerd and nerdettes. Today, we are going to be talking about something very special and unique to me. Now, despite all the weapons I use on the channel, I do have a personal favorite, and it's going to be the heavyweight warbows. More specifically, the English longbow, but I do love the heavy recurve as well. There are many different styles of archery, and it's hard, I think, for a game developer to pick a specific one in order to really focus in on, because you have Eastern styles with a thumb draw, you have more European or more Mediterranean three-finger draw where it's coming down and over as opposed to the thumb draw. So I think it's hard for developers to really pick one to fixate on, and what they tend to focus on is going to be the quick motion, rapid fire type shooting that's flashy and fun. And while there are many different methods of shooting, I feel the one thing we can certainly all agree on is that most all AAA games fail miserably in the recent years at making a fun, playable game. Good job, buddy! It feels like many different beloved game developers, BioWare, Bethesda, Ubisoft, have all fallen victim to the same sameness of You okay? So while it's super easy to nitpick what can be done in order to try and fix that or make it feel like using bows in games are more impactful and more powerful. That's certainly not something I can help with. I just figured out last year that if you use sharp rocks, you can make tools. But I was reached out to by Insomnia Development. They are creating a game named Spriggan, and they've been talking to me and consulting with me about using bows in game. Quick disclaimer. I am not receiving anything for this game, no royalties, I don't have any profit sharing or anything like that. These are just two guys who reached out to me, and I thought this sounds like a great, fun opportunity to be a part of a game, a part of a universe, and provide my expertise, that which they may be, into a video game to make it cooler, more realistic, and make the archery feel more powerful and impactful. So the one thing they did offer me, however, was a chance to be in the game. So in order to start, I had to get scanned into the game. So they sent me the equipment to get scanned in. I'm going to show you the process of that right now, how I got scanned in, what it looks like, and some early beta footage of the game and me in the game. All right, so I'm getting ready to get scanned into the world of Spriggan. My buddy Drew here is helping me out. You can find him on Instagram too. He's got a talk show, check him out. And so he's got the Power PC right here. So he's gonna help me get that because I don't have a computer that even has a graphics card, honestly. And so we're gonna try and get this set up and I'll go through the scanning process. I sent my face already, so that's in the works, but they gotta do a rescan. I gotta do an A pose and a T pose. And so as someone who just loves video games and gaming, I just thought it would be cool to share as this process continues. So I'm excited to see how it comes out. So in talking with the developers, one of the major things we wanted to try and capture with this build was the strength and athleticism required to use an actual heavyweight bow. Not just like a small rogue build, but actually a strength-built archer build. And that's going to be one thing that we really want to try to focus on by scanning in, was the actual strength required to use it. It's working. I kind of maybe moved my face a little bit. We're still pretty new to this, but that's a pretty cool front scan right there. So obviously the back needs to get done. Kind of trippy looking at it, but there's the first effort. So I'm going to keep trying to get it right and we'll get a better scan there. So this is how it turned out after the initial scan. We had a few different poses here and the results were pretty cool. It's kind of trippy to see once it all comes together how it ends up looking. So this is the base scan of the character model that I'm going to be sending to them. They're going to do their thing and customize it the way they want to. But this is how it turned out. So this is going to be the front side, and then we're going to go to the back side profile after that. The back profile came out really cool as well. I don't know how often my character is not going to be wearing a shirt in game, but it definitely, I feel, helps to translate the amount of strength that's required in order to pull a bow back and the lifetime of training that's going to be incorporated with that for a heavyweight archer. Slowly coming to life, Drew.
I know.
Look a little asleep, but it's coming there.
You look unimpressed.
Yeah. So how are we going to make it better? Well, simple, strength-based archery. This is the hill I'm kind of dying on here. Just like any class, barbarian versus like a rogue or a scoundrel, where they're going to have a lighter, quicker sword, I feel there needs to be an equivalent for a heavyweight archer class. And we are actually working on that and how to create that and the proper draw style for a heavy bow as opposed to one size fits all. If there's a certain class, they could use a different draw style, but the heavy warbow class is going to be similar to the historical style to pull a heavy warbow. So I've been working with Mike and Ben quite a bit via Zoom call and Discord and things like that, and strategizing with them on how to make the best, most impactful archery class in a game. It needs to be a full motion. There needs to be a lot of back that's brought into it, a lot of muscle, accessory muscles that are brought into it in order to functionally pull it back well, and it's a longer process. Watch any heavy archer, Joe Gibbs, or even Fateful Force. He's a guy that I follow along as well. He's a warbow channel. There's a wind-up process to these things. So that's the first thing I want to get right, is if you're using a heavy bow, you want to be sure that you really feel that wind-up process as you draw back. So the whole body is going to be pulled into it. It's going to settle down and drop in, and it also needs to be released relatively quickly. So the way the proper draw is going to work with these is you're going to start here, you're going to get that shoulder locked in, and you're going to get that elbow up. You're going to bring it up over the head and drop into place. And then from there, you're going to loose like that. But you want to get that big full draw. It's not a quick one. It's not an Olympic style shooting where you're bringing it to here. You're really bringing it back as far as you can go. Of the archery franchise and movie tropes in general is the holding and the aiming. So with a heavy bow like this, there's not really much aiming. Once you bring it down in, you're going to release. So you're looking at the target the entire time. So you're going to start, and once you get to that point, it's an instant release, because to actually hold it at a full draw is very taxing, and you're going to start to shake and lose that accuracy. So that's one thing we talked about in game, is having a prolonged draw is going to mess with your accuracy. And also, if you do just a draw like that and release it, you have less power. You can still use a heavier bow, but it's not going to have the same punch. There's also that wind up time. So as you're bringing it back, it's not a quick fire. You're going to bring it in, back, and loose. So that was a hold there. So I was able to do that. Again, this is a lighter one. If I get up To the heavier bows, it's an instant release, but with this one here, I can kind of settle in for a little while and hold that. So we're talking about, as you get stronger in game, having a longer ability to hold that shot, as opposed to having to insta release and having the ability to aim it up. But if not, it's going to shake a little bit and make it harder to aim. That's what we're working with draw style and aiming. It's going to be no reticule. We're going to be picking the target out in advance. You're going to load up and wind up, rip it back, and loose it just like that. So that's going to be a really organic feel. I think it's going to feel like it punches a lot. There's a lot of power behind those shots, which I think is missing, because a lot of times it's just like, especially Skyrim, everything's floaty. And I think it'd be really cool to have a system where you feel the impact as you release it, and the actual impact of it going downrange and hitting a target with a heavy, heavy arrow shaft. So what if you're a bit under-leveled for a bow? Well, as luck would have it, I am under-leveled for this bow right here. This is the 175. This is what I've been working towards for quite some time. I can get a draw on it, but not a full draw, right? If I'm using something like this, the stats aren't there or anything, as opposed to just not being able to draw it or pull it back, I think it'd be fun to have like a partial draw animation where you really struggle to bring it back and lock it into place. So that still has a lot of kick, even though it's a partial draw, because it's so much heavier, but my stats just aren't there yet, right? So it can still be used, but I really cannot aim this bow. It's literally just hanging on for dear life and trying to rock it back. It's getting easier and easier. I'm getting a little more distance, but you can definitely see it's not where it needs to be. Next thing we've talked at length about to get right is the arrowhead types. In games, it's usually like a one-size-fits-all for most arrow types. You have different variations of that. Like in the Souls game, you have heavy arrows, light arrows, you have fire arrows, ice arrows, things, but not necessarily different tips. And so we've talked a lot about the different historical types and what they're used for and how they can work better against different armor types. In the case, of course, of an armored opponent, you're going to use a bodkin tip, because as you've seen many times on this channel, bodkin points are going to excel for punching through mail, a little bit of plate, and other things like that. But when it comes to a flesh target and you want a larger surface area to hit and you want to cut deeper, it's going to be a cutting arrow like this here with a barbed arrow. Barbed arrows are gnarly because not only do they cut, they're basically impossible to get out once you get in without a deep type of surgery. So maybe bleed damage, different things where it's going to cause cut and penetration and bleed as well. You have a more standard barbed arrow. It's not as severe, but still a larger cutting edge. So that would be great against unarmored opponents, maybe horses, different things like prey, animals, stuff like that. It would work as a good hunting arrow. Lastly, we have this leaf type arrow here. That's like a standard leaf tip. Work against mail, certainly. It'll work against lightly armored opponents in like a padded gambeson, something along those lines. Something along those lines, but it's not gonna have the punching power of like a bodkin tip or a needle tip. I think a lot of people know in theory, but it's great to see in practice applied, is how much the arrowhead type matters. If you saw the most recent video I did with this 100-pound King Cobra compound bow, this is basically the most powerful compound bow in the world. And I use these really strong modern type broadheads. However, with those, even those were not able to make it through the brigandine or the plate very well, because it doesn't matter if it's not built for a specific purpose, it's not going to do its job well. So you need to have those variations in arrow type to take on different opponents. I think it'd be really great, and I haven't seen it before, as opposed to having different arrows in your quiver for an armored knight or an armored opponent versus an unarmored opponent or hunting. Hello everyone, this is going to be a real quick amendment to that last little segment right there where I was talking about the most powerful compound bow on YouTube that was being tested. Well, not just 4 days after I posted that video, Todd's Workshop and Joe Gibbs decided it'd be a good time to bust out a 130-pound compound bow. Now, I'm not the one to make comparisons, I'm not bitter or anything, but last week, Rambro was on top of the world doing his thing, feeling strong, redemption was at hand. Then this video drops, and I have just one thing to say to Todd and Joe. How dare you? Since that video dropped last week, Rambo has been refusing to have his protein powder. He hasn't been lifting weights. It's been at least a week since he's killed a communist covered in mud with a bow. He's really quite depressed. And look at him, just look at him. It's really tough to see. Hey Rambo, I see some enemies to America's way of life. See, that usually always gets them all excited, ready to go. Nothing, just nothing. Come on, man, we all know it's not the size of the bow, it's how you use it, right? Yeah, you must hear that all the time from your wife. You do realize we're like the same person, right? Is that clicking or anything? Okay, yeah, he's not gonna get it. Let's move on. In all seriousness, they did drop that video last week and it is fantastic. If you guys haven't seen that video, check it out, please. Joe Gibbs does a masterful job. Todd did a great job testing it, different scientific variables and all those things. So it's a fun watch. If you haven't seen it, go check it out and then come on back to here. And so the other thing we discussed was moving while using heavy bows. Now, if you're using a really light bow, it's perfectly feasible to run, jump, roll, do all sorts of crazy stuff with it if it's in the lower draw weight. So once you get to 100 plus and you start getting those heavy draws, you're really gonna need to get a good base, a strong base. You're going to be stagnant in position to fire that arrow. Think Resident Evil 4, the original, where you can't really rock and shoot at the same time. The same is true of heavy warbows. When you get up to that high number, your body really doesn't have the ability to move around and hold that position in place. So there needs to be a trade-off, of course, between gameplay, but I feel like if you really reward people for choosing that type of weapon, the power associated with it will probably negate the inability to run, jump, and shoot while you're drawing and holding back a bow to give it a really unique feel. So you set up, you have longer range, more power, you can stun targets when you hit them, especially in the helmet. It's gonna be enough to stagger them, and that can be a really great feature. Again, it's not gonna be fast paced, you're not gonna be rolling and jumping or drawing and walking with it back, but you have that ability to set up that strong foundation, rip it back and do massive damage downrange when you loose that heavy arrow. So one thing I do want to stress again is this game is early alpha footage. This is very beginning. It's going to release sometime in 2026. We've talked about a couple other things as far as proper arrow weight for a bow, as if you get a 160-pound bow, you have to make sure it's a properly weighted arrow, like a large heavy arrow, or it's going to cause damage to the bow. We talked about possible degradation to the bow, where if you use it beyond a certain point, it is going to break and explode. As you've seen on this channel as well. Like I said, I've been working with them quite a bit, but they are open to lots of ideas. If you have ideas on what you think could make an archery system great or unique, please leave it in the comments below. They said they're going to be looking at the comments in this video, see if there's any good ideas. You can join the Discord. I'll put that in a link below, or check out the link for Steam, which also has the game there as well. Once again, for YouTube, I want to stress, this is not something I have a vested interest in. I'm not making money from it. This is just trying to make a fun game, and especially nowadays in an age where it feels like every single game is basically created only to keep you engaged long enough to keep spending money. All the recent flops, games as a service, all the microtransactions. Finally, been grinding for hours, get to spend some of my hard-earned money. Greetings, future cash cow. What was that last part? Noble hero, how may I assist you on your quest today? Whatever, it's not important. I've been grinding for hours. Finally got enough cash to buy some cool stuff. Let's upgrade this bow. What do you got? Aha, man of taste. I see the 180-pound bow. This thing was made by Fairbow. Extremely fast, extremely powerful. Lots of levels to get there. Ooh, that looks fantastic. Ooh, okay. How much is this one? 1.5 million gold. Oh, that's a lot. What about that one over there? The 155-pound self bow. Not as fast as the laminate, but still a very good bow, very durable. All right, yeah, no, this is definitely an upgrade. This looks pretty good. How much for this one? 750,000 gold. Really? Gosh, everything is so expensive in this game. What the heck? Oh, the 121-pound flat bow made by the legendary bowmaker Joe Gibbs. This one is a true treasure. Fast, will not lose draw weight over time. Now this is cool. This is really cool. It's like a piece of history right here. How much? 1.5 million gold. What the heck? How am I supposed to afford anything in this game? This makes no sense. How much gold do you have? I have like 10,000 gold, and that's after like 100 hours of like grinding. For that much, you can buy this 120-pound fiberglass-ish bow from China. Yeah, so that's what you can buy. This is actually like worse than what I'm using now. Like this would be a downgrade if I did this. How does this game's economy even work? You know, you could just pay real money. Oh, there it is. There it is. There's the kicker. I'm serious, man. I work all the time during the week just to escape for a little bit. I paid for this game. I paid $60 for this game. Well, see, the gaming market's changed. A $60 game isn't really a game anymore. It's just kind of like an entry price to allow you to exist in the world that we created for you. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the way things are now. Just $5. 5 real dollars. That's it. Or you could spend another 20 hours grinding. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I don't have time to play anymore, and if I want to play, I want to have fun. And if I gotta spend $5 extra, I mean, that's not too bad, I guess, right? Excellent choice, Adventure. This bow will serve you well. Okay, awesome. Well, I mean, it was kind of painful. I'm not real happy I did it, but this should make the game fun. I'm really excited. Hold on. How am I supposed to shoot this thing? Where's the string? Oh, you wanted a string too? Oh, well, that'll be an extra $2.99. Come on, man, don't do this. I have kids, man. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, kids are an acceptable form of currency as well. How many you got? Because that can probably get you a good bow. Well, that's it's not actually that surprising. Well, I guess I can get rid of one of them. It's been really fun to talk with a couple guys who are making a game who have an absolute passion for what it is to be a gamer. Really great just from the perspective of dealing with an indie developer as opposed to like a large corporate one where it's all done around a way where things aren't locked behind a paywall and, you know, your best bow isn't something you have to get with a microtransaction. And just seeing the light in their eyes when they talk about it. It's a small team and they're really passionate and excited about it. It's been really fun because that's infectious. And so if questions, like I said, leave it in the comments. You can check out their Discord as well. Communicate with them there. But I think it's really cool because I've never had a game that I've been a part of where you kind of have a community grow together and have ideas and a way to create combat systems. And it's really fun. So I look forward to it. I hope you guys enjoy this and hopefully we'll enjoy the game together soon as well. Oh, now I get it. You jerk. In case you were ever curious what it looks like behind the scenes. Xander, you did so good, bud. Oop, little high, bud. All right, Xander, let's go. Ooh, that was high.
Draw and loose.